Look around you. The chair you're sitting in, the screen you're watching, the floor beneath your feet. It all feels solid. We operate on the assumption that what we can touch and see is base reality, the absolute bottom layer of existence. But an emerging scientific hypothesis suggests a different architecture. It proposes that the universe we inhabit is a complex computational simulation, running on underlying code. To understand how this is possible, we look at the origin of our own digital worlds. 50 years ago, human simulation consisted of physical hands manipulating primitive digital objects, a couple of white pixels bouncing back and forth on a screen. Within a few years, those pixels gained complexity. We built arcade environments governed by physics and defined parameters, pulling the user deeper into simulated logic. Next came the attempt to fully map human senses into the machine. We began to strap physical sensors to our bodies, intentionally hijacking our visual and auditory inputs to make the digital space feel physically real. This chart shows simulation complexity plotted against time. We start flat in the early computing days, but the curve quickly traces an exponential vertical spike. This trajectory points toward a threshold where digital fidelity matches the resolution of our physical environment. This creates a statistical vacuum. If any intelligent civilization eventually produces billions of these high-fidelity simulations, the math stacks against us. The probability that we happen to be the one original, base reality, and not one of the billions of simulations, approaches zero. If reality is coded, our next step is a system audit. We need to consider the physical hardware necessary to run a universe-sized program. We intuitively associate massive computation with massive physical architecture. Early human efforts to process simple data required reel-to-reel mainframes that would take up entire rooms. Now, scale that up. A post-human civilization, an intelligence millions of years ahead of our own, would possess computing architecture we can barely conceptualize. We are talking about processors the size of planets, or megastructures drawing power directly from stars. This level of computational scale allows for the creation of ancestor simulations, hyper-detailed historical models populated by billions of conscious thinking nodes, used for research or sociological mapping. We can't step outside our universe to inspect this stellar hardware, so we have to look inward. We must audit our own physical laws for optimization shortcuts, the kinds of efficiency tricks programmers use to save memory. The biggest challenge in simulating a universe is the computational load. Calculating the precise location, state, and interaction of every single atom in the cosmos at exactly the same time would crash any system. It requires too much memory. Game developers use targeted rendering to save memory. In this diagram, the engine generates the environment only inside the player's line of sight. This mirrors our universe at the subatomic scale. Particles exist as probability waves until measured, snapping into fixed positions only when observed. In quantum mechanics, this is known as the observer effect. It means that at the smallest scales, matter does not have a definitive state until a conscious observer interacts with it. The universe effectively renders the details when you look. Skeptics point out that this is simply how quantum physics operates. We have no direct proof from outside our own system to confirm it's a computational shortcut. Still, the parallel is notable. The exact data-saving logic we use to prevent our video game engines from crashing is mirrored in the building blocks of our own physical reality. Realizing that your thoughts, your memories, and your surroundings might be executing lines of advanced code naturally triggers a sense of dread. But we have to redefine what it means to call a simulation fake. Even if the universe is a construct, the human experience occurring inside it, the history, the joy, the suffering, remains valid. Physical laws are absolute to the beings bound by them. Gravity will pull you down whether it is a property of base matter or a programmed parameter in a hypercomputer. The consequence to you is exactly the same. Reality is ultimately defined by what we experience. The substance of the universe matters less than our active participation in it.
Our observations shape the system we occupy. The mechanics of our existence suggest a reality far more complex than a simple material world.
We are either the architects of the next digital frontier or the subjects of one. If you want to keep exploring the deep questions that challenge our understanding of the universe, make sure to subscribe and join us for the next audit.